Ellie.
Shut up, Mike. I'm meditating.
But this isn't very fun.
Yeah, it's pretty boring. Not very active.
I wish there was a more interesting path to enlightenment.
You can't force the mind. If you try to force the mind, it won't work.
I would prefer to go and do a movement, either dance or whatever it is.
Vipassana was the traditional meditation for centuries. And Osho came along and said, no, that doesn't work anymore. He took all of those ideas and simply broke the mold. So what you do is, instead of pushing the mind to go towards more silence, you go in exactly the opposite direction.
I think I'm ready to check it out. Let's go.
My first time at Kundalini.
What I'm doing is not becoming something else. I'm remembering.
We just got back from the second meditation called Nada Brahma, and for the first half an hour, you hum.
We spent about half the time humming.
And it starts hurting the back of your throat a little bit, and feels kind of weird, but you definitely get into a meditative trance of some sort.
I felt like a hummingbird.
I think that was the deepest state that meditation has ever gotten me to. So that was pretty cool. I think in that aspect, this meditation could be for me, but I'll tell you, it took a lot of patience to do that. I mean, half an hour is a long time to do that.
The point of these meditations is not necessarily to bring a person more in sync with society, because there's an assumption under there is that society is good where it is.
Even though your body is moving, like, it still takes work to meditate.
It was like I wasn't here, literally. I just had no clue where I was supposed to be.
I would go here when I was supposed to be here, and I was all over the place.
One great thing about these meditations is that you do something different every 10 to 15 minutes, so you never get bored. I was going really fast for part of it, and it was totally trippy. Like, it was like...
It was really, like, enchanting almost to do the twirling, like looking at your hand, and I was really getting into it, and then all of a sudden I started to feel sick.
Maybe I started thinking about something else, and that's when I started feeling sick.
Getting up, going to another round of dynamic. That's one tough part about dynamic, is getting up so early to do it.
I think anybody who tries this meditation for the first few times is going to feel that's pretty radical.
I say get some coffee. All right, let's do it.
It goes in 5 stages. So the first one, you do this chaotic breathing.
I really like the breathing part. It's a lot of fun.
Breathing definitely is reflective or instigates how we feel.
So after the really intense breathing, you go into this stage of expression where you're supposed to just do anything that feels right, like by yelling, by screaming, by moving your body any way you want.
That's the key. Expression. For most people in our society, you don't, your boss does something that pisses you off, you don't say anything to him. You know, you go home and maybe you kick the dog, maybe. To say, okay, I'm going to go into my insanity and express that. That's a little bit risky.
We definitely had a harder time expressing. The other people didn't have a hard time expressing at all. I wish I was that way, but
Everyone else was like screaming like obscenities and just getting really into it and moving their body, and the instructor was trying to tell us to like keep on, like use our voices, but neither of us could do it. It almost felt like we were in a jungle with like animals all over the place.
Instead of starting off with peaceful abiding, you start off with really crazy insanity.
I felt like I was in the asylum, you know, on like the top floor.
Everyone's deepest fear is to go there and get stuck there and not be able to come out again.
So it is shocking. It is shocking to go in.
I literally felt frightened. I had to make sure that I was still in the same place and that these people weren't yelling at me. But everything was fine. After we switched into next stage, it was just like
Jumping.
The jumping happens with the arms raised and the hands open, and you land on the flat of your feet, or so that you experience a little bit of a jolt in the first chakra or the sex center.
It is exhausting. I was sweating. Like I was like really worked out.
and then all of a sudden you stop. You just freeze where you are.
The stop comes, and there's 15 minutes where there's no movement. You just witness whatever thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, whatever is going on.
The last stage was dancing, and it was supposed to be a celebration.
And what a beautiful thing to celebrate.
Yeah, I'd like to try it again, blindfolded. This was pretty good. This was active meditation.
It's like multitasking. You exercise while you enlighten.
We're all bozos on this bus. We're all beginners.
If you ask most people what meditation is, they will tell you, well, it's about sitting down and closing your eyes and being quiet. But as you've just experienced,
So Allie, did you like it better than regular meditation?
I definitely like the active meditation better than regular meditation, but I still find that arts and sports are just as relaxing and effective. What do you think?
I agree. I think that I find the same peace of mind with outdoor recreation like hiking or biking or jogging. They're just as meditative of activities.
But don't take our word for it.
Try it for yourself.